Hey, coming at you live today to talk about a very important, much requested topic, how to tell if it's your intuition or your mind. I've come up with 3 easy ways for you to be able to distinguish so that when you get those hits or those thoughts or those ideas and you're wondering, is this my intuition or is it just my mind playing tricks on me? You can discern it because one of everything that we do here on my channel and everything I do in my work and the process Divinely Design Your Life is all about you bringing the vision that you have for your life into reality. And a big part of how we do that is through following our divine guidance and following our intuition. And I go into this in the many different ways you can connect to your divine support squad, your intuition, your soul's voice in the process. So if you're curious about learning more about that, definitely check out the links below and dive into that. But these 3 indicators are a really good reference tool. So feel free to jot these down on the notes section of your phone or favorite this video so that you have it as a little reference point when you're in one of those moments where you're like, is it my intuition or is it my mind? So the first thing is what is it saying to you? So the difference between our mind, our ego, our fear, and our intuition is often what it's going to tell you. One of the biggest giveaways for me, if something is someone's intuition or divine guidance, is it's kind of illogical. It's something that feels like it's kind of out of the blue. It doesn't make sense. It's not the conventional next step, right? That's when we know divine guidance is kind of coming in, right? Because if it was the logical, conventional next step was also the step that was aligned with our soul's path, we probably would just be doing it, right? There'd be very little resistance. We would flow into it when the logical, rational next thing to do and the part that's aligned with our soul's path, our intuition, our guidance are aligned. Things it just happens, right? We don't even have to think about it, right? It's often when we're in these moments of thinking about it, of wondering what that next aligned action or step is when our intuition is opposed to our mind. And so our mind's voice and the guidance that our mind is going to give us sounds really logical. It's also backed up with a lot of why you should do this. So there's the whys and then there's the shoulds when we're in the mind, right? And our intuition is the opposite of that. It's 180 degrees away from the thinking of the mind. So our intuition is relatively illogical sometimes, and there's often not a good reason, I would say a good earthly reason why, right? So let's say your mind might be, well, of course you should go to your coworker's party on Friday or whatever. They're so nice to you, guys have a good relationship. They invited you, kind of all of the logical box check for why you should be going, right? But let's say your intuition is just like, no, you need to stay at home on Friday or whatnot. It's just a silly example. But there's not really any why, you don't know why you should stay at home on Friday. It seems kind of out of the blue and illogical. That's a big giveaway of our intuition. The second way we can discern, which kind of bounces off of that, is that how it sounds, right? So the voice of our intuition is pretty peaceful. It's grounded. It's I like to think of it as a little loving tap on the shoulder that just whispers in your ear, don't go on Friday or whatever, right? Where our mind is often the one that's the parent that's shouting at us, you absolutely should do this. Of course you should do it. And you should do it because of this, and this, right? That's our mind. That's not our intuition. Our intuition is not going to come at us with a bajillion reasons why. It's not going to try to defend it in this world. It's just going to present the next step to us. So when we tune into that voice, And this often comes up for my clients as well when it comes to early dating stuff, right? And they're wondering if they should text the person or not text the person. And then they text the person like, well, I felt like I was guided to text them. And I'll ask them like, okay, well, what did it feel like? Because if it felt like a compulsion, if it felt like I just need to text them, that wasn't your intuition, right? That like really aggressive energy is always our mind. It's our ego, it's our fear, right? That's looking for something, that needs to find something, right? If your intuition was guiding you to text someone, it would again be like a soft, gentle nudge on the shoulder that would just be like, you should text so and so and check in on them, right? Um, and with that, it's really interesting because that's often why the intuition is so easy to disregard, because it is just like that gentle knowing, and it's not that abrasive compulsion energy that we can have in our fear and our mind, right? Um, and so, our third thing that I want you to think about when you're wondering, is it my intuition or divine guidance, or is it my mind? Is when you imagine yourself taking whatever guidance or whatever action comes through, how does it feel? If it's your intuition or divine guidance, it's going to feel expansive. You're going to feel energized. It might feel peaceful, and there'll be, this inexplicable, like, this feels like the right thing, right? This feels like the right thing. And that's not the best word. I don't like using that word so much, but that's the best way I can describe that feeling. It's kind of like, yeah, I did the right thing. Whereas when we listen to our mind or our ego or our fear, often when we imagine us taking that action or doing those things, it feels exhausting. It feels constrictive. It feels just off, right? There's something about it that's not quite right, and that's because it is not quite right, right? Because we're not listening to our divine guidance. So those are three easy checkpoints that you can at any time ask yourself, and put them through the guise. And here's another bonus tip I'll say, because this has come up for me a lot recently. Not all the time, but a good amount of the time, when our intuition is guiding us to do something, is really unique for us. And when we go out for external affirmation or advice, like, let's say you have a quandary, and you're discerning what's your intuitive guidance, what's your mind, and you ask a lot of people around you, most of the people around you are going to reflect the mind. They're going to reflect the logical, ego, worldly based, like, logical next step, right? And so sometimes this can even be a helpful tool in discernment, because I find this, if I ask a few people their opinion on something that I feel like I've already received guidance on, and I have a pretty good idea of what that guidance was, but I ask other people's opinions, sometimes their opinions either way can really help me discern as well. So it's a little bonus tip, because if you ask someone, let's say you're like, I don't know if, red or blue, whatever, for whatever the question is, right? And someone says blue, instantly when they say blue, it will affirm your deeper feelings on it, right? So if they say blue because blue is like the logical option of whatever the action is, right? And your intuitive guidance has been telling you red, the red action, whatever that is, right? You'll feel that even stronger when met with that person's opinion, right? So we can ask, it's not bad to ask other people's opinions, because a lot of times people can reflect to us, and we can see so much easier in other people. Oh, well, they just think I should do that because it's the logical, fear-based, egoic, like, this world way of doing it. And then when I hear them give me that advice, I can tell that that's actually not what my intuition is guiding me. Whereas if you happen to be lucky enough to have a friend that can tap into your the higher guidance, right? And maybe affirms that choice, then you will also feel a sense of peace and settledness and you know, expansiveness from getting that reflection back to them. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hoped it helped you discern using these three things. What is your intuition saying to you? How is it saying it? And how does it feel when you think about taking that action? And then your bonus step of asking other people and using how you feel when they tell you your opinion to even further discern the voice of your intuition and your divine guidance. Remember, this is the base. This is the foundation for living in flow, for really manifesting anything in your life. This is the foundation for bringing that vision into your reality. So do this work, show up for it. And the more you listen to your intuition and divine guidance, and the more you act on it, the more things will start to flow in your life. And the easier it will get to continually hear it and to continually follow it. And once again, if you'd like to dive deeper with me, I would love to see you in Divinely Design Your Life, the process. It is my spiritual one-stop shop program and community for everything to bring the vision that you have for your life into reality, to connect with your divine support squad, to connect to the spirit realm, to really live your most magical life. So check everything out at the links below, and I will see you soon.